Not my
No,
government name. No, no, no.
no. Okay. Hopefully, welcome back. If not, welcome to Busy Reading Romantasy. I am Callisa, and I'm here joined today with Marina. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good and you?
I am doing great. We had a hurricane a couple days, very
We
casual.
certainly did.
And here we are. So we were just talking about how it's not necessarily the week we wanted, it's the week we got, and we're here regardless. Actually, I will say it gave me so much reading time because I read the majority of this bad boy
Oh, I love
on
that.
Thursday. Yeah. So it worked out well. But if you are new here, basically, while romantasy is in the title, I have very generously opened up to all sorts of categories, including dark romance, romance in general, any sort of fantasy, all that fun stuff. And the idea is we are just pursuing our curiosities, we're pursuing our interests, we're learning new things, and we're just keeping an open mind about it. And then we come up and talk about it. It's pretty much it.
And that's the vibes.
Boop. So we are going over the whole Souls trilogy by Harley Laroux. The first one is Her Soul to Take, and I will say, so for those of you, if you know, you know, we recorded this. There you go. Got the blur out. Yeah. They're like censor it. Mm-mm.
They're like, absolutely not. Not on this channel.
No. Oh God, we don't do anything appropriate, inappropriate. We don't do anything
Never.
appropriate here. Is the correct branding.
Couldn't
Um,
be me, wouldn't be me.
no. So, if you know, you know, we came from another podcast called Book and Bottle, and we actually did talk about Her Soul to Take. It was part of our Smut Month where we read the first book or standalone books in a couple different um layers, versions, flavors of smut, and that was one of the ones that we included. So, just for a disclaimer, I have reread it. Marina has not. That's totally okay. We're this is gonna be kind of more of an abbreviated version, kind of a refresher. Um, if you want the full thing, go check it out, Book and Bottle. Marina's joined us on a number of episodes over there, so you can check out all of those because 'cause they're a
Yes.
blast.
A blast every single time. Iconic.
It's so much it's fun. It's fun.
It's
And
so
that's what
it is so much fun. And that's what I love about this. It's literally just like unpacking everything from each book and seeing like what tidbits we picked up respectively. I think it's so cool.
it is. It's very cool, and because I remember our last conversation, you brought up a couple really good things, and I was like, "Ooh, I didn't even think about that." That's my favorite part, is to see,
Yes.
like, what people focus on, why, and I will say I loved rereading this. I do like to reread books because I do think the first time, I literally just, like, blast through for plot, then now
Hmm.
I get, like, more details, so this will be slightly like this was a reread for me, so interesting notes. First note, as always, we start with Leon, the demon. I
Leon.
I can never get over that. Like, it's fine, but you just think about it and you're like, Leon. Oh.
Oh, Leon.
Um,
Our little vaping friend.
I know. Such a tough life, stuck in his little circle,
Hmm.
forced to obey his masters. Oh God, okay. So
That
anyways,
damn grimoire. Gets you every
Raylan
time.
Raylan comes back to Abelaum,
Abelum.
Abelaum. There you go.
Abelum.
Yeah.
I'm sticking
I,
to it.
I just kind of mutter it in my head and like it is what it is. We find out Marcus has been murdered, and that's immediately where I was like, oh yeah. So there's this god, right? And everyone's trying to like the Liberi are doing, all these you have to they saved 3 lives, so now they have to give 3 lives, and I was like, "Ah, yes, I remember
There
this."
must be balance.
Next note in my thorough plot-focused notes mentions, "Demons have the drive to hunt pleasure." Period. Me too, buddy. It just felt relatable. I had
Yeah.
pulled a couple quotes, and I think that was the first one. I'm testing out a new system,
Hmm.
and it's touch and go. I thought it was interesting.
Hmm.
Mm, 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 mm. When he was when they were talking about the eld,
Mhm.
and the eld would consume the flesh of humans if they could, but I would consume them in another way, through pleasure, pain, and blood, corruption, temptation, utterly perverse intoxication. Humans were the most pitifully willing prey. Too many of them lived such constrained lives, binding themselves to moralities that only served to limit their enjoyment of their short mortal existence, offer an easy path to perversion, tempt them with pleasure's darkest desire, and they make for easy prey.
Damn, Leon. Damn.
That was deep.
Like literally, I'm like, I wasn't expect to be read like that, but okay,
And I think
fine.
it's so true though, because like we're taught, there's certain expectations for society. And I feel
Mhm.
like you eventually get to an age, not everyone, but if you're like me, I certainly did, of like questioning why? Why do we have
Yes.
these rules? Why is this looked down upon? Why is this a problem when it's not a problem and it's not even bothering anybody?
Yes. I completely agree. I think wow, you went deep.
I
Okay.
know,
Woo.
right off
Woo.
the
We only
bat.
like 5 minutes in. I'm like, damn, okay, so we going in on the deep
Mhm.
end. Wow. Yeah, I agree. I think that, just depending on what your upbringing is, but especially with this country, we hail from like a Protestant, nation or whatever.
Mhm.
We're very much like pearl clutchers. And it's nice to see when people step out of their own shell of like what how their upbringing was, and kind of exactly what you said, questioning these things that we uphold in our society as what is important and what is deemed important, and what makes a good the morality of a person,
Right.
and it's just like, I don't want to say it's all a farce, but it's it's all a farce. I think life is to be enjoyed. So
Mhm.
long as you're not harming another, I think let your freak flag fry. Fry.
Let it
Goodbye.
fry.
Let it fry. Deep fried.
Sizzle.
Yes.
No, absolutely. Okay, side note, now that we're down this rabbit hole, I just went to a smut lovers convention. I filmed an
Okay, I
episode
saw.
on
Can we
this.
talk about this,
I went to a dungeon for the first time. I had so much
please?
it was such a great experience, and I loved it, and it was so much fun, and I
Wait,
learned
can
so
we
much,
get we
and
can we get like a little bit of details, like just like one
yeah.
thing?
Oh my god, I went to so many panels, like, I'm talking, sub and dom panels, BDSM
Yes.
101, impact play, so we learned, like, watch out for organs, watch out for bones, what can you do? I checked off so many. I got lit on fire, I played with electricity, I
Whoa,
got flogged,
whoa,
I
whoa. I just love how you
Pause, back it
literally
up.
bulldozed through that. You're like, I got on fire. Like it's what I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, it's
So
all
like, okay, so
sensation
like
play.
what part of you was on fire?
This part, and they put some nice isopropyl alcohol, they tap it with the fire, and then you smooth it right out. No burns, no pain, just sensation, and the most fun was playing with the fear in my brain because I was like, "You want me to do
Yes,
what?"
battling with
A
this up
and
here.
yeah, and then you do it,
Yes.
and you're like, "Oh my god," and you feel that high of like, "I just did that. I was scared and I did that."
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, and then, like, the electricity, it's like, kinda like static shocks, but it's like tingles if it's really low. I mean, you can turn
Okay.
it up and make it hurt, but at first it's just tingles. Flogging, I tried out a whip. They're all like, whips to me feel like
Ooh.
little sparkles, like it's little, like, beep, 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 beep all over. There was, like,
Wow.
3 different types of canes, so one was, like, really flexible, so, like, that would, like, and, like, sting, versus, like,
Uh-huh.
one that didn't bend, and it was, like, more, like, thuddy, and, like, all the
Okay.
sensations, like,
Wow.
I went into it being terrified of, like, knife play, and they were like, "You can use children's knives. It's not gonna cut your skin, but you can play with that sensation, play with that fear."
Right, like the pressure
Oh my
against your
god.
skin, but not like breaking it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna bring up later is, like, because you read scenes like this and they're slicing each other up and you're like, "Oh my god, I don't wanna do that," but it's like
Mhm.
there's so many nuances and, like, my brain was just on overload on, like, how to do this, um, not safely, but, like, being aware of the risks and, like, all
Mhm.
the dynamics and everything, like, it was so much fun.
The knife, I just went to Leon, I think it's in the 2nd book, where he,
Mhm.
like, runs his tongue, along the knife
Mhm.
blade, which we will
Mhm.
get to. I'm not,
Yeah,
I don't wanna
yeah.
jump ahead, but we will get to that.
We will get to that, absolutely. So, it was all good, but absolutely what you're saying. So, if you want more of those details, listen to that episode because 'cause that'll be up by the time that this is up. Um, but yeah, so we get to the point where Ray and Leon meet. She
Mhm.
catches his attention. He
I
gives her
remember
that,
cargo shorts and combat boots, specifically.
and that's what reminds me about how much I ignore descriptions because 'cause I'm like, absolutely not. No.
Right? You're just like,
Thank thank you for the suggestion. Noted. Dismissed.
Harley, Harley.
But that is where we get the first little bit of spice when he gives her that, like, little quip about, like, Eiffel Tower or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay,
You're like,
we
"For
get it.
sure."
You've done some spicy, spicy things."
Mhm.
So Ray's back and she meets Victoria and Jeremiah, who we know are, not great people. They go to this like carnival. I did think it was cool reading this the second time because
Mhm.
since the last time we've read this, I now do tarot as well. I've learned how to
Oh,
do that.
oh my
I
goodness.
know, so I thought it was super cool now to read it, and when she went to the carnival and Everly did a reading for her, Everly pulled the Tower, the Ten
Mhm.
of Swords, and Death. Now when she pulls it then, she says a little bit, but, like, I think when you understand tarot, behind it, it brings a new meaning. Because when you first read it, so, like, Tower is, like, your tower is falling, and it's
Mhm.
kinda like a warning, right? Things are about to get crazy, jump out, save yourself, but just beware, change is coming, it's about to
Yes.
fall. Ten
Mhm.
of Swords is usually depicted as a man or person laying down with 10 swords in their back, so it's usually either, like,
Oh, I know that one.
backstabbing or, like,
Like betrayal.
yeah, betrayal or, like, trying to even betrayal of yourself, of, like, convincing yourself everything is fine when it's not fine. It's what I love about tarot is, like, there's so many, like, ways to interpret
Nuances.
things. And then the last one is death, and obviously you're like, oh my god." And then you're someone like me, and that is my favorite card. That is one of my favorite cards because death,
Death?
think of it more rebirth,
Okay.
right? Something's ending, but something's beginning. So every time I
Right.
get that card, I'm like, "Oh yeah, like a new chapter is opening." But it's funny because I think there is a like misconception, and if someone were to pull
Yeah.
death, everyone would be like, "I
You're like,
got."
"Oh, no," but you're like, "No, no, no, my child, it is merely a phoenix."
It is, yeah, rising from the ashes.
Yes.
I actually just got my tarot read last week as well, and,
How'd it
I got
go?
I got the devil, and I was like, "Ooh, spicy."
Ooh, you don't
But
say.
again, there's multiple interpretations, so, of things. So
I
I
also
did point
like
that out.
how, with Miss Everly giving the tarot reading, that's something I really appreciate about this series is that in the first book, you're getting like little previews of each, respective quote unquote couple.
Mhm.
And you're also not realizing it, but once you read the second and third book, like let's say in the third book, which we will get to, um, you get Everly's perspective of that tarot reading. What's
Mhm.
going on in her mind when
Mhm.
she's literally laying these cards down. And I
Yeah.
think that is one of my favorite things about this trilogy. It is delicious. I love it.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into that as well because I have plenty of thoughts about that.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So then another little part, so this is a lot where like relationships are being formed and we're figuring out who's who. Obviously Victoria and Jeremiah are trying to cuddle up to our little Miss Raelynn. And
Mhm.
when they all go out to the bar, I don't like Victoria for obvious reasons,
Yeah.
but as a reread, I did like that she points out at the bar, she goes, "Pretty things don't need to be likable, do they?" And I was like, "Oh, you are aware, Victoria."
Huh. Okay.
I thought that was interesting. I
I
did not
still don't
notice it the
like
first
you.
time. Still don't like you, but yes, you are correct. Like, that is a
Yes.
good point. Um, and then we get the spicy scene where they play their first little game of Mercy in the alleyway. That's
Yes.
where
That alleyway scene,
oh, yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. First of
With
all,
Zayn and Leon?
their
Yo.
relationship. I love how normalized this book makes same-sex relationships. Like,
Mhm.
it's not even and they bring it up multiple times, it's like, "That's
Yes.
just normal in hell, there's nothing weird about it."
Yeah.
I just always loved that, and it was so and you can feel their love for each other as the series goes on, and it's, like, such a sweet relationship.
It's like there's a history there, and it really is, like, Harley really makes these things that are so, like, charged in, like, quote, unquote, "real life" that, like,
Mhm.
it's so casual in the book, it's like you ordering a number 2 at McDonald's. So, like, "Yeah, I'll take a number
Yeah.
2, please," like, it's beautiful.
It's just normal, and, like, that's the point too, because we are consuming this book to experience these things, like, secondhand in a way, and, like, that's why I picked out that first quote is, like, because we are the humans that are like, "Ooh, give us all the good stuff," because like,
Mhm.
just having the amount of interactions that we read throughout this whole series of like you said, it's so charged and everything is normalized, nothing is ever like put down or judged. And it's like, see how much fun you can have when you stop, when you let it go. Like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Mhm.
So they play their little first game of Mercy. She has managed to get the grimoire later on. She's like, I need to film some content for my YouTube channel. Let me summon a demon.
Oh my god, I
Accidentally
totally
cuts
forgot.
herself,
Mhm.
and Leon shows up. And of course, at first, she's like, why would you? Were you stalking me? Is this all a joke? And you're like, Raylan, no, no, he's
Like
an
my sweet, sweet summer child.
sweet thing. No, he actually is a demon.
And
Um,
you literally summoned him, so
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They get out of the I was gonna call it castle, the church.
close enough.
Same thing, the old building. Uh, in the cemetery, this is where we get our next little bit of spiciness where he proceeds to just decide to commit. So he can smell her fear and she's one of our sweet little heroines that feels fear and arousal at the same
Mhm.
time.
And she's, like, trying to, like, hide it, but, like
And he's like, "No, no." Um, and, so he I think the quote so, obviously, they do all sorts of things. He's flipping her upside down. He's given her a tour of his nice little forked tongue, as all the demons do,
Mhm. As one does.
as one does. If you have it, you might as well share.
I
Um,
mean, I would.
and, because we know you're a good person.
See?
He goes, "Well, doll, I'm sorry to disappoint you," I said softly, so it's from his point of view. "But the only good story I have about that old church is about the last couple I took there." And she's like, "About what?" And he goes, "If you've never been fucked bent over a pulpit with one man in your ass and another in your mouth, I'm sure the woman would highly recommend it. But if you'd like, I can tell you the story myself in graphic detail."
You wild for that.
Leon.
Leon is wild.
I love when books give kind of this, like, instant chemistry,
Mhm.
but if you tell me that right off the bat, I'm like, "You don't know me.
You're like, "Yo,"
What
like
What boxes did I tick for you to be like, "That's the information she needs?"
Literally, he went on the entrance ramp to the turnpike, crossed over 6 lanes to the left lane, and is going 103 miles an hour.
Mhm, mhm. Oh, yeah, and then it just gets worse because she wants to figure out the story, and he's like, "I don't tell stories for free," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, what's the price?" And he's like, "You need to get down on your knees."
Oh my god, I'm sorry, how was that again?
"Oh my god, what's the price? How much does it cost?" I I really need a story.
I mean, as compared to, Juniper and, Everly, I feel like she is kinda like that.
Mhm.
And I
Oh,
don't wanna say
yeah.
it's like a disservice to her and her character arc, and if there even is a character arc, I don't wanna,
Mhm.
like, I'm trying to think.
Not the
We're
most.
yeah, like, I don't wanna, like, disservice her, but yeah.
I have thoughts about that as well, and why I think it makes sense that her and Leon's story is first.
Yes. Yes, 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 yes.
Absolutely. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, so after all that naughtiness, um well, where'd my notes go? Okay.
Notes are like, "Bye."
They go back to her place. We get the point where he saves Cheesecake, her cat, and you're like, "Oh, he's just a big sweetheart." And he's like, actually, we find out later that there's actually a lot of cats in hell, and um, they have an interesting relationship.
Yeah, that checks
Um,
out.
so right. Raylan is one of the ones that needs to eventually be sacrificed. So all these like little monsters are after her and he's like, "You know what? I'm going to protect you." And he gets all injured and she's like, "Come in, let me clean you." And he's like, "We heal fast." But she's like, "No, no, I insist." And
Mhm.
um it's just we learn more about hell. Obviously their relationship is growing. And this is when Raylan kind of realizes that, he can kill her and he doesn't, right? Like
Yes.
he could do that in a heartbeat. He
Mhm,
could hurt her, make her suffer, do all those things for like um summoning him in the first place. Like that
mhm.
was an accident, clearly. He
Yeah,
could have just
he
killed
could have
her
just, like, been like, "No, you're done."
and
But he
moved
didn't.
on. But he doesn't. He doesn't. The god starts to get a bigger hold on her, and, like, at one point, she's just walking around, and she starts seeing some tentacles in the clouds.
LSD is a hell of a drug.
That's not and it's always funny because it's always the type of scene where someone's like, "Hey, Ray, are you okay?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just" and you're like
Are you
you're
fine?
like,
Are
did you see that? Because I don't that's not normal. That's not normal." Um Their relationship continues to grow. There's another situation, again, I like to give myself notes with absolutely no context, so when I come back to them, I'm like, "I don't really know how we got here," but we got to one point where he's spanking her with a belt, and the reason I made note of that part is because it mentions how she starts crying, and it's very cathartic for her,
Mhm.
and, I think that brings us back to, like, one of the points of, like, why even though we shouldn't be judging what other people are into in the first place, that
Mhm.
is one of the benefits is like some sort of release and it can also just be stored up like not great stuff and
Yes.
changing the narrative to a time where it's consensual, it's wanted, it can be sexy and it become
Mhm.
a good thing is just like one of the many benefits of spanking.
Yeah, it can be incredibly healing.
Mhm.
It seems counterintuitive, but it can, as you said, it can be a release in
Mhm.
more ways than one, y'all nasties.
Yes.
It can be incredibly healing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That was one of the things we learned at the convention is like kink is therapeutic. It's not therapy, but
Right.
it can help you on your journey.
Mhm.
And this is where we like realize like, he really loves her and he doesn't want to watch her die. He doesn't want to watch her get sacrificed and thrown down into the pit of the mines.
I suppose not.
And still she's not quite ready to like give him her soul. She doesn't trust the whole thing, which is valid. That's a big ask.
I suppose that's fair.
What's what's your price? What would be your bargain to be like, you know what, have it?
Oh gosh. Nothing. Nothing is
Mm.
worth I now I feel like the pearl clutcher.
You're like, actually, no, thank you.
Nothing. You can't afford me. Um Now I'm thinking of Ariana Grande with that song. She's like, heaven is just the same price as red bottoms. For a pair of red bottoms, baby. Louboutin. Sponsored.
You just want the
Sponsored by Louboutin.
sponsor. Insert the commercial here. It's you just like
Louboutin is
walking
like, you
around.
could never afford our spot, buddy.
Nice try, nice try. So I'm hearing you'd like a whole new wardrobe, all the things.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. Um, Easier answer if you have a god that's like stalking you. And then you're like, actually, you can have my soul if I can just live, please.
Yeah, that seems like a fair trade.
So I like how Leon said, I decided I wanted you. I saw you and I felt not anger, not hatred or fury. You're a light in the dark, and I have been in the dark a very long time. I
Oh,
want
that's
you
so sad.
irrevocably, but I can't settle for less than all of you, body and soul, Raelynn. We demons, when we see something we like, we need to possess it. It's in our nature. Does it frighten you to be so desired, to know I want you regardless of time or distance, to know I want you as mine, wholly possessed without question? I was like,
Oh, you broken little thing. And
another
also
little.
greedy. I get it. I get it. Because he's been in the dark a long time
Right, right.
and he wants all of her. So that's what it's gonna be.
I like how it's like super sweetness, and then we get back to like, I want all of you though.
Literally,
Give it to me,
literally, he's like,
I've been dark without you, but I want to possess you.
yeah, and you're just like, oh, okay, this could have been really a sweet moment, but you're just being okay, that's fine,
We
whatever.
needed to do the sandwich method and afterwards follow it up with
Yes.
more of the sweetness and how much like how much I mean to you and
Hmm.
everything. Yeah. But we're like, okay, we get it. You guys are in love. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna protect her without her soul. It's fine. We know that she loses the journal. We know later that Everly comes in and grabs it.
Wink,
But
wink.
so we don't know who has access to Leon's sigil, and anyone could potentially like summon him.
Hmm.
Um, Leon, in attempts to find the sigil, makes his way to Callum and Everly to go back to get his stuff, and that's where she makes him admit, like, "Damn it, I do love her," and we're like, "Yeah, we know,
It's like, yeah.
we got that." So he gets his sigil back. He could leave at this point. He could go back to hell. No one can summon him anymore. He's like basically
Like,
done.
we're done. Hmm.
He's not going to leave the one he loves, though. We love
Nope.
that.
Hmm.
Our sweet, sweet little Ray, who has no sense of
Self-preservation.
self preservation,
Yeah.
goes to this Halloween party.
Oh, Ray, this, oh my God. And it's so funny because this this party gets dragged out through all three books. And it's like we
It
get the
does.
replay on from different angles. It's so embarrassing.
It's pretty rough, and she willingly accepts a drink from Jeremiah.
Because she's stupid. That's a
Why?
stupid thing to do.
And she's like, I love this song. Starts dancing with this hot couple, and they run her to the bathroom. Juniper shoves her fingers down her throat to be like, what are you doing?
And poor Ray is just terrified. She thinks Juniper's crazy. You know, from her perspective, that's fair.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like I would probably pick up on the fact that maybe something was in my drink if somebody is shoving their fingers down my mouth. Ray was like,
Right.
"What's happening? Oh my goodness, these crazy people."
Wait, I like your impression of Ray better. Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, what's happening? Oh my God, Harley Laroux is gonna watch us and be like, you know what? You can get fucked.
First of all, fuck off. You need to audition for the audiobook is what I'm hearing.
Can you imagine? Ooh.
No, that would be great. But yeah, you're like, Ray, what's going on? They do mention how she needs thorough enrollment in a nice demonic protection plan. And I'm like, hi, hello, how can I enroll, please? I would like
Yes.
to, what are the quotes for your service?
So we're just contacting you about your extended warranty via demons.
Right, right. You can get 5% off if you actually sign up for automatic withdrawals.
Yes.
Thank you. So with the roofies out of her system, which okay, I do have a slight bone to pick with this because they do make
Mhm.
her throw up. It doesn't work like this. You're not
It
just gonna
does
come
not.
back to normal. Like the
Right.
damage has already been done.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
for the book's purpose, she goes back to normal.
Like all better. Boop, 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 boop,
If
boop.
only if it was that easy. Just throw it
Really?
up and you're good.
Yeah,
Like,
you'll be great. You'll be
ah.
grand. No.
So what do her and Leon go do? They go to Kent's bedroom
Mm-hmm.
and they think, there's a bed. We can't possibly be doing anything else right now. Let's let's fully utilize it. And and this is where he actually like slaps her in the face. And I do remember if you check out the last episode, I have a little bit of a story of a friend I entrusted.
Yes, yes, I remember. Yes.
Yes, uncut. Back to the story. After they're finished, they go down into their little dungeon in the house, whatever. Maybe they don't even go down, but in my head, they go down somewhere into a different place.
Mm-hmm.
She finds a little weapon. They come back up. Who's sitting in his bedroom? Kent. Kent
Mm-hmm.
himself, who's like the head of like we need to sacrifice all these people. Um of course, my notes don't go into any more detail for myself, but obviously, for some reason, they run away. They get out of there. He's like, "You're not going to do anything right now." Um, Leon was like, "You're not going to do anything to us right now," and they go on their merry way. They go to a hotel because things are getting sketchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where he's like, demons like to possess people. They like to mark them. So what does he do? I do say outside of well, okay, never mind. I take that back. They're all I was thinking about how every person gets marked in each of these books and I was like, I can't even call this the most intense because they're all intense for like
Yeah.
uh,
Different flavors of intense.
different flavors of intense. We're gonna put an asterisk in there for our Miss Everly. You gotta watch those episodes. So Uh, where he proceeds to have her ride a toy while she uses another toy on herself, and then he pierces her nipples. And I was like,
Oh my goodness.
I'd
Yes. I
pass
remember.
out. There's
Yeah.
no way my body can handle all
Yeah.
of
My
that.
body would be like, nah, nah, we're not gonna do this.
No. Let's see.
Just like a sensory complete like overload. There's just no way.
Yeah, no, way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much. Um, I did pull out another important part where it's like this is fantasy, right? So it's like we're not I'd like to think most of us are not interacting with demons on a daily
Well,
basis.
not that you know.
Not that I know. None's sought me out, which
Hmm.
like why? What's wrong? But
Are you trying to be a pick me right now?
yeah. I just anyways, it's fine. No. Um So, it being fiction, right, it's not as possible to bring these scenes into real life necessarily. You
Yeah.
can take bits and pieces and flavors of it, but it's a little different. So, even though things have not necessarily been negotiated like black and white beforehand,
Hmm.
I think the kind of like default like factory setting is the fact when Leon explains this about um demons and Ray goes, I'm surprised a demon would use a safe word. And he goes, we demons value free will above all else. We may play with the illusion of being forced,
Hmm.
but what fun is it if your victim doesn't desperately want you? We don't call it that in hell, a safe word. We all know to call mercy if the play needs to end. It's more polite and rather more intimate way of saying stop or I'll make you stop. And I thought that was a brilliant way
Hmm.
to look at kind of kink culture in general when it comes to kind of kink and intimacy is like that's essentially what it is. We're playing with the illusion. I think a lot of people like to play with the idea of being forced or
Hmm.
it's part of that cathartic release,
Yes.
but it's not fun, it's not safe
Hmm.
if both parties aren't willing, and it's always
Yes.
going to be the bad apples who ruin it. I mean, no matter what, in like literally anything in life.
Hmm.
So besides all that, I thought that like, yeah, you get these super strong demons that could come in and kill you, and they don't. And they're like, even they understand the value of we're doing this to have fun and grow intimacy and kind of serve a purpose. I'm not just coming in here and like wailing on you and slapping you around.
Right.
That's
Right.
not fun.
And it kind of goes back to like just the common sense of it, other than like, the respect part, but just like what fun is it if the other person doesn't have a say? Because again, they
Mhm.
above everything else, free will.
Yeah.
That is like their
No,
constitution.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So also on page 404, I swear it says that he had blonde hair. Leon a
Let's check
blonde.
the receipts. And I
Huh.
quote, flips a page furiously. Let's
Oh, right.
say.
Hmm.
I just focus on the word cheesecake. I'm like, oh, I would love a cheesecake right
Oh,
now.
maybe I didn't type this. Sometimes I don't be typing the right ones.
I'm not seeing blonde.
Hang on, hang on. Okay, well, maybe I definitely
I'm trying
typed the
to
wrong
fight the
number.
urge. to sniff the pages. Oh my god.
I saw
I just
somewhere
love the
maybe
smell
it's
of pages.
give us a little sniff.
Just it smells so good.
Okay, so clearly I wrote down the wrong page, but I think it said that he had blonde hair, and I was like, no.
Nor.
Thank you, but
No.
no. No, no, no. Okay, so stuff is starting to heat up. They go back to her house. A Reaper comes. That's not good. And Leon is like, I love you, please leave.
Yes.
Where it's all not gonna be great.
Mhm.
So she drives away and then she's like, "Oh my God, no, but Dad, I love him." And tries to go back. It's not going great. We find out God is a kraken. She gets like dragged into the under area and
Mhm.
tentacles are places and you're like, what's happening? She manages to draw Leon's sigil. She carves it into herself, and that bonds them. They both get stronger, and then it goes great. They escape, and then we find out that Kent Kent is dead. The Hadleys are dead. Like
This
in
Kent's a
that
little
short period of
bitch.
time, boom, the end. That was book one.
There you go.
Now, I know we have plenty of thoughts as it relates because all of the books not only interconnect, but what
Mhm.
we learn is that each of the books retells the same scenes.
Yes.
And I will say, actually, I'm going to save it for the end when we can like talk about looking at all of them together because I think
Okay.
it's just done brilliantly and I've never
Mhm.
been this excited to like review a series and share my thoughts. So, thank you so much for joining us through all of that madness. It was the most random ass notes I've ever taken as a reread.
Yes.
Maybe I'll make that a series. It's just like me rereading books and grabbing things that like because I don't focus on the plot because I already know what's happened essentially. But
Yes.
like then you just learn weird stuff like Leon is blonde and you're like,
You're like, what?
that's a choice.
Calling Harley right now.
Why would you do that? Um, Please join us for the next episode where we're talking. We will be
Blah,
talking
blah.
about back it up. We will be talking about her soul for revenge, and then finally soul of a witch. These just get more fun. They just get. This is the first series I've read where every book has gotten better than the last. I will say.
Yes.
So thank you again for joining us. Marina, I've talked through most of this as we already knew what happened, but can you please tell everyone where they can find you if they would like to know more?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me, first of all, on social media. I'm on both Instagram, well, actually, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can just search Marina Mellifera. So that's Marina, and then last name Mellifera. I have all 3 accounts live, ready to go,
Yeah.
content loaded. And you can also find me in real life. Um, and you can find me usually Wednesday nights at Cocktail here in St. Petersburg, Florida, for their Fresh Start Drag Showcase, which I
Yeah.
absolutely love. You can also find me Wednesday nights at Enigma as well, because I'm usually doing like back-to-back performances in their respective talent contests. Can find me also at the Garage and Alphabet Soup, which are also local St. Petersburg, Florida venues. We love St. Petersburg, Florida. We're a big fan of it.
Hmm.
And that's my story, y'all.
Sounds good. Sounds good. And I love seeing your content because I never know like what I'm getting, and it
Yes.
just fills me so much. I've mentioned this before of like I will watch your videos. I will watch the whole thing knowing I don't know a damn thing about cars. And I'm like, let me see. Let me see what they have to say.
Yes.
So great times. Perfect. Well, yeah, this was kind of a crazy episode. The next two, because they're fresh reads for us, will probably be a bit more structured and not all over the place. But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I have a whole outro as well too. So you can find Busy Reading Romantasy on Spotify and YouTube are the main two places. You can also follow me on Instagram or TikTok. I will have a link tree down in the notes that has uh, links out to everything. Everything should be Busy Reading Romantasy except for TikTok. It was taken, so I had to add periods.
Oh,
Oh,
TikTok.
the disrespect. So yeah, join us next week. This is just gonna get better.
Yes.